Welcome everyone to this week's Wednesday webinar. Today we are going to be looking at creating a product catalog within CRM. So just some basic information about a product catalog. What is it? It allows you to define how and what products and services you sell. So not only the things you carry or services you provide, but also do you sell them by a single package? Do you have multi-packages? What kind of prices do you have? Discounts, things like that. And what is it used for? You will see your product catalog used within opportunities, quotes, orders, and invoices. So it really is how you put all the product services together, total that up, provide a total to the customer. You can have quotes that you send out. And if you are using the invoicing feature, you can even get to the point where it is filtering into the invoice as well. So the steps for creating a product catalog, and it is very important to do these steps in order, just to save yourself frustration, not because you're gonna break the system or anything, but the next level is always dependent on having the first level done. If you don't take the time to do the first step, it's going to cause some frustration for you having to go back and adjust. And there are some things that you can't change after you've created them, so you may have to recreate them if you need to make a change to something that was done within the first few steps. So the first thing that you want to think about is unit groups, and we'll look at how you create these. But unit groups, this is how you sell things. Do you sell it by bottle, by carton, by pallet? How do you sell your different products? If they're time, is it hour? Do you do it per case? Whatever it may be. So you want to set up your unit groups first. After that, you can look at discount lists or products. These next two are a little bit interchangeable with discount lists and products. So discount lists have to do with if you sell things at different prices or with a discount based on volume. So, if you have ever purchased like chairs or things that you can get in bulk, it's for a lot of times trinkets can be like this. If you purchase 0 through 9, it's $2, but then if you purchase 10 through 25, it can be $1.75, and so on and so forth, depending on how many you're ordering. So discount lists in your CRM, they work the same way. You can set thresholds and then discounts based on percent or by a just flat amount based on the number that people are ordering. Your products, that really is what is it you're selling, the individual products you have. And when you're setting up products, you have individual products. So if you sell chairs, chair, that's a product. You can bundle things together. So if you sell a table and chair set, you can have one table and 4 chairs, or you can sell chairs individually. And families. And really when you set this up, I do start from families first. I do families, then individual, and then bundles. And we'll talk about why here in just a little bit. But families, that's that overall grouping. So maybe chairs is a family, and then all the different types of chairs that you have are individual products under a chairs category. And then I've got a couple this bounced around a little bit here. I apologize about that. Let's get this. Product properties and product relationships. You set this up within your products page, and properties are certain attributes that you want to have with your product. And again, we'll look at some examples of these, but maybe there's something that the customer needs to have before they can purchase a product. You could set this property up, make sure they have this, or if maybe that product has a warranty, that could be a property that you have on there. Make sure you ask them if they want a warranty or something like that. The relationships, you can provide opportunities for, if one product isn't available, are there substitutes that you would offer to a customer? Are there other products that would be a cross-sell or an upsell opportunity? Or even if you have just some accessories. So if you're selling cell phones, maybe cases for that cell phone, screen protectors can be related specifically to a product as an accessory. So when you're selling this particular product, you're looking only at accessories that are related to that particular product. The last thing that you do when you're setting up your product catalog is price lists. And you can have multiple price lists. So you can have a default one that is just flat rates. And then if you want to have some sort of store-wide clearance or a deal going on where you want everything marked down 15%, you could establish a new price list that will be utilized for opportunities during a particular time period or things like that. So we're going to spend a bulk of our time here just looking at how you set it up and look at some example products and catalog information that I have available. So let's get right into the demo here. Okay. So here I am within my CRM, my demo CRM, and I'm going to go into the advanced settings to open up the tab where we can get to the product list. And it's just taking a moment to think about it here. Okay, so within settings, there actually is a category called product catalog. And this has the 4 groups that you need to be looking at when setting up your product catalog. The only thing that really is optional is these discount lists. If you don't offer any discounts based on volume buys, you don't need to set them up. We're going to look at it today just so you have an idea of how it can be used, but that is the one thing that would be really optional. So I'm going to go ahead and go into unit groups, and we're going to set up a unit group, and then we'll take a look at some that I've already created. So I'm going to go ahead and select new unit group. And we're going to say, for this example, we sell coffee and coffee accessories like filters or creamers, things like that. So we're going to say that we sell creamer by the bottle. And when you think of a unit group, you really do want to think about the lowest unit that you sell or the lowest unit that you would calculate. So for this case, we sell individual bottles. So I'm going to say bottle is our primary unit. And I'm going to click OK. And now here we have the unit group bottle. And if you only sell it by single bottle, you can be done here. And a lot of people are. Maybe if a customer wants 2 bottles or 6 bottles, there's no other unit group that you would sell it in. You would just say 6 bottles in a quantity on a line item. If you do offer other prices or other packages that you want to have grouped together, you can create other units. So I'm going to go here to this down arrow and go to units so we can see the related units. Right now we only have a bottle in here and it's 1 bottle. So I'm going to add a new unit. And I'm going to say my new unit is I also sell them by the carton. And in the carton, we have 6 bottles. So our base unit here is going to be bottle. Save. And then now that I have that unit price, when I'm setting, or that unit group, when I'm setting prices, I can give a particular price to a carton. If our 6 bottles are $10 a piece, normally if you buy 6 bottles, it'd be $60. But maybe if someone buys by a carton, I want to give that a price of $55 or something like that. That's when it is a good idea to set those other groups. So let's go back to our unit groups, and I want to show you. I did one here by ounce. So we sell coffee, and how I set this up, and this is one way that you can set things up if you have multiple sizes that you sell. So we sell ground coffee, and we have a bag, a small bag, and we have a large bag, and then we have canisters. So to differentiate between those different sizes, I created a unit group called ounce. Now, I really don't sell anything that's a single ounce, but when I look at my related units here, I have a small bag that is 10.5 ounces. And then I have a large bag that's 24 ounces, and our canister is 32 ounces. So when I set my price list up, I can set prices for each of these different unit groups for the same type of coffee. This is one way to set up when you have multiple sizes. If you're looking at, you have multiple sizes, but maybe they're different ID numbers or product numbers, you may want to, in those cases, instead of setting your unit groups up, maybe it's just small bag is the unit group, or by bag is the unit group, and you set up individual products. You'd have one product that's, light roast coffee, small bag, 10.5 ounces, and then light roast coffee, large bag, 24 ounces. That's another way to achieve the same thing, where you can select from the different sizes. So there is more than one way to achieve it. It really depends on how your data needs to be placed. In this case, because we set them up as different unit groups, all of our type of coffee that's one roast, and we'll look at that in a moment, like light roast, all has the same product number, and it's just the unit group that decides what size they get. Okay, so let's go into the next place I go is into products, families and products here. And you'll see I have quite a few products. Again, I said we're selling coffee. So here are our product families. We have coffee filters, ground coffee, filter packs, K-cups, and coffee creamers. The importance of a product family has to do with the attributes that you may want to have across all of the products that are underneath that grouping, or if you have product properties, which we'll look at in a moment here. When you are adding a family, you do just click Add Family. We're going to go ahead and look at a family here because we are going to add products under this coffee creamers. So let me go ahead and pull up the coffee creamers here. And you can see that for a product family, we don't need to define a lot. We gave it a name, and I gave it a product ID, and I just started with the prefix for all the other product IDs we have under coffee creamers. But what's important is that under product properties, I set a property for all creamer products. So when you set it up in the family, it will automatically flow through to any product that is under this family. And the product I put in here is, we'll throw in stir sticks if the customer wants them anytime they're buying creamer. So the property we set up here is to ask if they want stir sticks, and it's an option set. But let's go ahead, let's add a new product so you can see how that works. I'm going to get back here to this, and we're going to add a product because we haven't added the products that we sell by bottle yet. All our creamers we have are those just individual box creamers. So we're going to say we have French vanilla creamer, and we'll just title it that. So all our coffee creamers start with the product ID CC, and we're going to say this is French vanilla creamer. So we'll say FVC. You might already have product IDs. If not, you do need to come up with some type of identification that you want to have for your products in your catalog. The important thing when you're using families is to select the parent. And if you hit the magnifying glass, you can choose from product families. I'm going to go ahead and select coffee creamers because this is coffee creamer. You can set validity dates. We don't usually use that a lot, but if you want, you can set validity dates. You can track the current cost that you pay for the creamer, and you can give it a description. But the only things that are required after this is the unit group and default unit. So we're going to say this is by bottle, and the default unit is we sell it default by bottle. It's nice to pick a default unit with the coffee ones because I have that ounce and then small bag, and I don't sell a single ounce. I have ounce here as the unit group and then a default unit of small bag. We're going to say default bottle. Decimal supported. A lot of times this is 0 unless you're dealing with time type situations because we don't sell half a bottle. We're not going to sell 0.5 or 0.75 of a bottle. It's going to be a whole number. So we don't support any decimals. Now to add any product properties, you do have to save the record. So I'm going to save. You can click the little icon down here to save it, or there's a save up in the white toolbar. Okay. So a couple other things. You can set a default price list. So if you already have a price list created, you know that this is going to go on that price list. You can set a default price list for this product. And you can see that our product properties flowed through from that coffee creamer. So we see that stir sticks property. When you're looking at adding a property, and you can only add a property when the record is in revised status or draft status, as you see up here. Once it's published, you can't change it unless you open it up and put it back into a draft status. To add a new property, you just hit the plus sign here, and you can choose your property features. You can choose the name of it, if it's required, if it's read only, or if you want to hide it. And then in the properties, you select the data type you want. Ours is just an option set to say yes or no, they want stir sticks. I don't see a ton of properties used, but every once in a while it can be nice as a checklist for your salespeople or whoever is putting together the quotes. The other couple areas in here, we have the price list, which this is the last thing we'll do. This is when you add a particular product to a price list, and then product relationships. So this is where you can relate it to other products. So we're going to say, okay, this is a French vanilla creamer in a bottle, but let's go ahead and add a relationship. And we're going to say, we have a different type of French vanilla creamer, and I'm just going to start typing in French vanilla, and I'm going to hit the magnifying glass so it comes up. We have it available in single cups as well. So we're going to say if the bottle isn't available, maybe we want to offer them the single cups. So I'm going to select that as a related product and say this is a substitute. Some of your other options, upsell, cross-sell, accessory, and substitute. So I'm going to say, yes, this is a substitute. And the direction, you can choose that it goes only one way, or it can go both ways. So I would say French vanilla, if the single cups weren't available, we could offer them a bottle. So we want to say it's bi-directional. And we'll save that. And you can have lots of relationships in here. We're just going to put that one in here. Okay, and now we're not going to add this to a price list item yet. I want to show you guys the discount volume. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. So when you look at the discount list, I already have one created, and we're just going to take a look at that one. But if you wanted to create a new one, it's new. And I created it for if you order from 5 to 10, you get a volume discount. And it's currently active, and we just named it. It's a 5 to 10 volume discount. It's a percentage. You also can choose just a set amount, but we're going with a percentage. And then when we go to the related discounts, we're going to say, okay, the percentage is 5%. The begin quantity is at when they order 5, and the end quantity is when they order 10. If we wanted to add a new discount, you can go new discount, and you would say, okay, now at 11 to 20, it's 10%. And let's save and close that. And now we have both of those discounts in here. So let's go ahead and save and close that. I probably wouldn't name it 5 to 10 volume discount, but that's what we named it for the demo. There's two ways to add to price lists. If we look here at price lists itself, you can see a full price list. We have a default normal. If you wanted to create a new, you would just select new, and you can give it a name. You can apply dates to it and give it a description. But we're going to go ahead and we're just going to look at the default price list right now. That's where we have all our prices. And we're not going to get into the advanced features here, but you can assign prices by role or by category type of purchase. But just to add them to the price list, it's the price list items. So when we look here, we see all the different products that we have, and we have different prices. You can see for like our coffee, we have the small box is 16, a large box is 32. You can add all the prices there. And if you want to add a new product, it's just a little add, and you can select your product and then give it a price. So you can say, I want to, for the single cups, The box may be our default unit, but we want to go in and give a price to the pallet if they buy it by pallet. So you can add it to the price list that way. The pricing information here is where you put the amount. The other way to add to the price list, this is helpful if you're setting up a brand new price list, you already have all your products loaded, especially if you've imported them all instead of adding them individually, which I highly recommend. You can add them all here through price list items. However, if you are adding one new product, like we just added that creamer, and because we have not published it yet, it's still in our drafts. So let's go ahead. We could add it to a price list directly from in here. So we can hit the plus sign here and we can say, I want this, and it's going to look the same, just different fields that you have to fill out. So in this case, it's got the product in here, but we need to choose the price list we want to put it on. Otherwise, it looks the same way. So we're going to save for a bottle of the French vanilla creamer, we're going to charge $10. I'm going to save and close that. And it's going to take a moment to refresh here. Let's just refresh the page. So now we can see that it's on that price list. And if we wanted to add another price for the carton, we would go back in and we'd say, okay, on the default price list, and I love it, you can start typing in or you can hit the magnifying glass at any point, but we're going to say now not by bottle, but by the carton, which we had 6 in there, we're going to say that's $55 to get the carton, and we're going to save and close that. Once you've done everything you want with a product to make it available to be used within your opportunities, you do need to publish it. So within here, you see publish, and we can go ahead and select publish, and it will publish this record. You'll see now the status is active. And if we were going to try and edit anything, you see there's no more plus signs for product, properties. Some things have become locked in here. If you wanted to change things, you would need to put it into a revise status. And then the status becomes under revision, and then you can make certain changes to your product. The things you cannot change is the unit group. That's why it's important that you have your unit group set up. You can change the default unit. So if you wanted to change it to carton, you could do that, but you couldn't go back and say, this is actually a box or an ounce or anything like that. So that's why it's important to have those unit groups set up exactly like you want them to be used. You can also publish whole families at a time. So if you have done a bulk update, like a bulk import of all your products, let's go ahead and look. I'm just going to my recent views here, and I'm going to look at the active ones. If they weren't active, though, say I wanted to do all coffee filters, you can put a check mark next to the product family, and you would be able to publish the hierarchy, and that would take care of the family plus everything underneath. Making a bundle is also super easy. When you do add bundle, you give it a name and product ID, the unit groups, everything is the same. Once you save it, you add bundle products. So let's go ahead and look at one of the bundles that we have here. I created a couple of variety packs. So we see I've got this K-Cups variety pack, and that's a bundle. So I'm going to select that one. Once you have the basic information added and you've saved it, you can add bundle products similar to product properties, price lists, everything. There's a plus sign. Right now, there's not a plus sign here because this is published. We would have to revise it in order to change what is there in the bundle. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this works when you're actually doing an opportunity and how all the properties and everything will appear. So I'm going out of that customization settings section and just into my regular sales dashboard. And I'm going to go to opportunities here. And we're going to create a new opportunity. We're just going to say demo with today's date. I always look for my favorite company here, my ABC Training Company. We'll pick one of the contacts, and I've got to put in, I'm going to save it, but I got to put in an estimated revenue, let's just say $100, and let's go ahead and save it. Okay, so we have our opportunity, and where you add product lines in are right here. So we're going to go to product line items. We want to select our price list first. So this is where if you had some sort of deal going on for the month of October, you could select your October price list. We are just looking at our default price list, and then we can start adding products. So let's go ahead and add a couple products. I'm going to add one of our coffee creamers, and you can do new or write-ins, but that's a whole nother training. We're just going to add a couple so you can see the things that we've looked at and how that will filter in. We're going to pull our caramel creamers by box. We'll say one box, and we're going to close that. And then let's pick one of our coffees here. And let's do our light roast. Okay, we're going to do a small bag of our light roast coffee. And we're going to save and close that. So there's a couple of things you can see here. Under properties, you can see under the creamer cups, it says to rectify the properties. So let's go ahead. We selected the line, and we're going to go edit properties. And when we pull this up, we see it says stir sticks, and we just need to choose yes or no. So when you set those properties, this is where it would appear and how you could choose if it's a whole number or just something they need to say yes or no or be aware of. We're going to say they don't want stir sticks. We're going to click done. I'm going to refresh my page here because it does take a little bit to update the page sometimes, especially when you're doing a demo, it does. So I'm going to go back to these product line items. Okay, and now we can see that it just gives us this edit the properties because we've already done that. If we select a certain line, and I'm going to hit the little ellipsis here. So hold on, it's not pulling up that suggestion. Sorry, it's just taking a moment here. There we go. Took a moment to come up. I've got the line selected here for light roast ground coffee. And if I hit suggestions, this is where those related products will show up. So we can see we set up some different cross sells. Maybe they're interested in some medium or dark roast coffee, some accessories. Maybe they need coffee filters. And this is only showing up on our ground coffee. It doesn't show up on like our K-cups or things like that. Or maybe they want some creamer. Or for an upsell, maybe they want one of those variety packs. So let's say, oh, yep, I do need coffee filters. I want a box of them. If we go ahead and select it, and you could select multiple ones, you can add to list, and it will automatically add that product for you. Another cool thing, we had set up those volume discounts. So let's say if instead of 1, they now want 6 bags. Let's go ahead and save this. It's $12 per bag, but you can see our total is actually $68.40. And if we go ahead and expand this, we can see that it has applied a volume discount of 60 cents because it's a percentage. If we were to change it, and we can change it on this expanded page as well, because we gave that next level if they get over 10. So let's say they want 15. Let's go ahead and do 15. You can see it's $162 and the volume discount is $1.20 because they've gone up a level to that 10% discount. So the volume discount can be handy if you do use that type of pricing. So that's been a pretty quick overview of product catalog. A couple things to be mindful of. you are not going to see products that will allow you to add them in these product lines if you do not have them associated with a price list or if they are in draft status. So always make sure to publish your products and make sure that you do add them to the price list that you are using. I also would warn against creating too many price lists because then your salespeople or whoever is entering the opportunities has to know the correct price list to be pulling. So I definitely recommend having that pretty concise, a couple of them so that it's easy for your end users to select which price list they want. It's also very helpful when you're looking to create a product catalog to either sketch it out on a whiteboard or on a piece of notebook paper to make sure you've thought through the way you sell things, make sure you have those unit groups set up, and then make sure if you're doing bundles or families, just kind of have it all sketched out and then import it in larger groups because it does take time if you do it individual line by individual line. That can be more of a maintenance perspective. And that way you also don't run into the frustration of having added 50 products and then realize, oh, I should have done it under this type of unit group, and then having to go back and start over. If you guys have any questions at any time, please feel free to reach out to me, or you can always check out some of the writing that we have on our blog on our website. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and have a great rest of your day.